Let's now go to Sudan, where security forces have killed at least one person while dispersing anti-coup protesters in the city of Omdurman. According to a statement by the Central Committee of Sudanese Doctors, the protester died after he was hit by live bullets in the face. The group adds that so far 116 civilians have been killed in protests against the military coup. Pro-democracy activists have been organizing protests against the military since October 2021. Mediation efforts led by the UN mission in Sudan to end the political crisis in the country have so far failed. Now we're joined by CGTN's Naba Muhyiddin. She's live for us in Khartoum with the latest on this. Naba, what can you tell us about these anti-coup protesters in Sudan today?
Thank you, Tanina. The situation today is a bit calmer than yesterday. Yesterday there were two protests, one in Omdurman where the 16-year-old boy was killed, and another one in Khartoum where Freedom and Change Forces Alliance called for and protested in Bashdar station, which is one of the many stations for the protesters. There was violence against the protesters in both cities. Tear gas was fired, live ammunition was fired also in Omdurman, and the 16-year-old boy was killed. And today there is escalation in Omdurman and more protests are expected to take place, but till now there is no announced or scheduled protest, but it's expected to be demonstrations reacting to the killing of the 16-year-old boy and also reacting to the paralyzed situation in the country.
All right, and now let's talk about the mediation efforts to end the political crisis in the country. Why have they not worked so far?
Actually, Tirina, nothing changed since the military announced the stop of the talks or its withdrawal from the UN-sponsored talks. And then we saw also some rebel groups announce also their withdrawal from the talks. Then the situation was paralyzed, totally paralyzed. The political scene is more complicated than before, and nothing is happening in the mediation efforts. There is no efforts held by anyone, not by UN or the AU trilateral mechanism. So right now the situation is totally paralyzed, no mediation, and of course we are expecting some efforts from the African Union and the UN to put people again on the tables, but right now all of the political scene is totally paralyzed, and also the economic situation with security situation. The whole country is at the brink of a collapse. So right now nothing is happening, only escalation from both sides, and as we saw, the situation is more fragile than before.